This is Eagle Al, and today I'll be talking about Devonte Smith. Yes, he's ready to go off this year. Also, Jalen Hurts getting disrespected by Nick Wright. And lastly, should we bring back Shaq Leonard? But let's get straight into it. All right, so let's get straight into it. Let's talk about Jalen Hurts, man. Jalen Hurts getting disrespected by the big media. So this thing with this Howard Eskin thing is growing legs a little bit, saying if Jalen Hurts don't have this phenomenal year, he will get Carson Wentz, meaning he will get traded. Even though Carson Wentz asked out, but I'm not going to go into much about the Carson Wentz thing because Eagles fans, we all know about the Carson Wentz thing, right? Nick Wright and these guys are reacting to it like a Philly media insider is saying that Jalen Hurts can get Carson Wentz. And he even asked, is Jalen Hurts a top 15 quarterback, Nick Wright? Like he went in, but let me play this clip.
I don't think anybody actually thinks Jalen Hurts is getting cut or traded barring a catastrophe. But I do think it's a legitimate conversation of, do we know Jalen Hurts is good? I think that it like, and by
good?
Yes, and are we certain Jalen Hurts is a top 15 quarterback in the league? I think, and that's average. There's only 32. So are we certain? By good, I mean better than the average league starter. Are we certain of that? And so here's why I think it's a fair question. Because you start with, and I try to be fair, I try to be, Wilds isn't here to remind everyone, but they do call me Mr. Consistency. There is an element of the situation stuff that I don't think hold against, but use in my grading of Brock Purdy must apply here.
Hold against.
In that case, other than
sure.
San Francisco, is there a better situation for a quarterback?
Utterly insane. Utterly insane for questioning, is Jalen Hurts a top 15 quarterback? If you look at Jalen Hurts numbers compared to Joe Burrow's, right? Both runner-up MVPs. Both two-time Pro Bowlers. Both went to the Super Bowl and lost. Like both got the similar number of starts, and their numbers are really close to each other. But you will automatically put Joe Burrow top 5, but you won't put Jalen Hurts top 5. And they got the same or the similar success in the NFL as each other. Their success in the NFL is very, very similar. But again, one guy, you're going to always put him top 5. But the other guy, you want to put him top 5 at one point, top 10. Now he's not better than the average quarterback. There's something wrong with Nick Wright for questioning like Jalen Hurts if he a top 15 quarterback. And I get it. You got to get the shock value. You got to get it. But really, you will go this far saying the guy, quote unquote, bad year, won 11 games? Are you serious? A dude's bad year. He won 11 games. 11 games. Got you to the playoffs. Couldn't do it. At some point, he just couldn't overcome the bad play calling. He couldn't overcome it. So real Eagle fans or people that watch the Eagles know that. You watch the game, the play calling was stale. Mind you, we barely utilized the middle of the field and was still able to win 11 games. And eventually we got caught. Like these dudes just don't utilize the middle of the field, and these dudes don't really like running the ball. And again, we just got caught up. It was just too much. It was too much for the players to overcome. So Jalen Hurts did the best that he can. But speaking of Jalen Hurts, let's talk about him and Kellen Moore and Nick Serianni relationship, because some articles that came out about Jeremy Flower and Bleacher Report, and this is some things that they had to say about Jalen Hurts. According to Jeremy on Flower at ESPN, he said, I'm told that the Eagles have spent a lot of time this offseason taking the old offense, Nick Sirianni's system last year that Jalen Hurts is used to, mixing it in with Kellen Moore's principles, put it in all in the pot with some gummo and see how it work out and what Jalen Hurts is comfortable with. I'm told Hurts has done a good job this all season of being vocal and taking ownership of the plays he likes and the plays he doesn't. I like that. I personally like this because one of the things or one of the stories that were coming out at the time when we were losing is that, Jalen Hurts will go to Nick Serianni and Brian Johnson like, hey man, let's utilize, intermediate routes. Like let's really utilize the middle of the field. And things didn't change. Like whoever was running the play calling, Nick Sirianni or Brian Johnson, they stuck to whatever they liked, the wide receiver screens, not utilizing the middle of the field. Even Smitty said like, yo, I'm more comfortable in the offense right now than last year. So whatever it is, or whatever it happened, Jalen Hurts is like, nah, y'all gotta let me take ownership because his legacy is taking a hit. We gotta be honest. Again, you got guys like Nick Wright saying, is he a top 15 quarterback? Is he a top 15 quarterback? That's, to me, again, that's insane. But last year, even after winning 11 games and having a quote unquote down year, his credibility is taking a hit. He's a high paid quarterback. Let him take more lead. Let him get more say so in this offense and really see what he like. And Kellen Moore is the right guy to do that with. Nick Sirianni, I guess, he want to still be in the mix a little bit. And, Jalen Hurts, honestly, is probably used to some of Nick Sirianni play calling, but just take a little bit of what you like, mix it in with Kellen Moore. I like this idea. I personally like this idea. But speaking of Devonte Smith is looking to take off this year. So Ruben Frank, he wrote like an article, or I guess he spoke on NBC Philadelphia, and he was talking about Devonte Smith and how Kim and Kellen Moore using Devonte Smith, he will have another big year. Like his numbers, and I do agree with this, Devonte Smith has some decent numbers, but his numbers don't tell the full story. Devonte Smith is one of those dudes that's better than his numbers. If he didn't have to play beside AJ Brown, it's easily like a 1,400-yard receiver. Like if you put Devonte Smith probably on the Vikings or shoot, a couple teams, I'd say like even Washington or something, like where though he's the like true number one guy. I'm telling you, Devonte Smith can have like a lot of yards, but for him to play like the background, be somewhat of the number two, and still get you over 1,000 yards, still know how to get open. Look, Devonte Smith is a dog, and I think him and Kellen Moore is gonna have a lot of fun with each other because I believe Devonte Smith, far as skill set wise, is better than CeeDee Lamb, and I know that's hard for a lot of people to hear, especially with Cowboy fans, because they're like, look at the numbers, look at this, look at that. But my eyes tell me like, yo, my man's better than your man's, bruh. Because AJ Brown, I think AJ Brown is just a different type of dude. I think AJ Brown is the best receiver in the league, and Devonte Smith can be in that top five, but it's only one football. Then the plus you got Saquon in the backfield, and usually our running backs been getting over 1,000 yards these past 2-3 years. So we utilize the run, we utilize the receivers. So it's really hard for Devonte Smith to get that 12, 13, 1,400 yard. And then you got AJ Brown getting that amount. So again, it's only one football, but for Devonte Smith to really just like, I'm gonna play the background when my number's called, I'm gonna go off. Or if I'm the man this game, I'm gonna go off. Like usually Washington, he goes insane against them. So I think him and Kellen Moore is going to have a lot of fun, especially with a guy that moves like Devonte Smith. You could put him in the backfield, do Texas routes. You could put him in the slot. You could put him on the outside. You could do a lot of things with Devonte Smith, because especially if you get him in those matchups where as though he can match up damn near against a linebacker, you put him in the backfield, use him in the slot. I'm telling you, get him the matchups he is favorable to win. Like definitely favorable to win. Yeah, Devonte Smith might have a big year. I think he had like a little over 1,000 or like 1,100, close to 1,100. I say 12, 13. I think AJ Brown is still gonna be that 15, 16. I'm hearing AJ Brown want to go for 18. So I think he's gonna do that, and I think Devonte Smith is gonna be right there. I think we're gonna have a lot of passing yards. Jalen Hurts, I wouldn't be surprised if he have about 4,200 passing yards, because I think the receivers are going to go off. I think Dallas Goedert is going to have a solid year, 800 yards. So I think these dudes are going to go off. And then you still got the threat of Saquon Barkley in the backfield. So it's going to be a lot of points. We're going to get back to fun Eagles offense. Fun Eagles offense, man. But let's speak about the defense. The defense, when you look at the defense, right, and you look at where we thin at, it's two positions I say we're thin at. I say safety for sure and linebacker when you look at it. So Shaq Leonard, he's still out there. He's still out there as a guy we forget about because it was disappointing. I'm not gonna lie. When he came to the Eagles, we had high expectations, especially the way he was speaking, like I'm ready to play and this and that. But to be honest, the coach were right. The coach were right up benching him, saying he's not ready. And during the 5-game losing streak, according to like sources and stuff, I think Ed Crash put this in his article too, that Shaq Leonard at some point admitted, like, man, I don't think I was 100% yet. So Shaq Leonard, we probably got him at 70, 75%. And he was okay. He was a victim of the system too, but he was okay. And I seen things that happened. I'm like, I don't know, man. He looked a bit slow, or it looked like he can't get to that spot like how he used to. So I knew something wasn't right, or like he was just done. And that's what's going on. It's either he's going to get a call, or he's like, I just might retire. I'm satisfied with my career. And it's crazy. It's crazy. I think he should sit back a little bit. And I think, work out, try to get to that 100% or close to it. And I think the Eagles should sign him. I really do think the Eagles should sign him, because when you look at our linebacker room, it's thin. We're not asking Shaq Leonard to be the guy. We're asking him to heal up, prepare, training camp, learn the playbook. And if your number is ever called, just be prepared. Just be prepared. And if anybody can revive his career, I think Bobby King, our linebacker coach, and I think Vic Fangio, our defensive coordinator. If anybody could get him back right, it would be our OGs on the defensive side of the ball. And just let him chill. I think him and Zach Cunningham, a lot of people don't want them back because, again, I'm not asking them to be the guy. I'm just saying, come back, play the background just in case anything happened, because we got Devin White, again, a guy who's trying to prove himself once again. N'Kobe Dean, who has somewhat of, he had the injury bug last year. I'm not going to say injury history because you guys hate when I say that. I'm going to say he had the injury bug last year. Then I like Baron Summerin. I like him a lot. Zach Bond, we really don't know about him playing inside. We hearing that he's been good during OTAs, but that's shirts and shorts. Let's see how he is with the pads. But we're really, really thin at linebacker, and I wouldn't mind signing like a guy like Shaq Leonard or a guy like Zach Cunningham when you think about the linebacker room. But that's all I got for you guys today. But hey, man, what do you think and how do you feel about the news today? Shaq Leonard, look, should we get him back? Devonte Smith, Jalen Hurts. But this is Eagle Al, man. I'm up.